Alright, I understand I'm extremely late with a review for this movie, hence the title of this video. It's like this. When this movie first came out, it was the talk of the century, and everyone was gushing over it and raving over it, and everybody was telling me, oh, you gotta check out K-Pop Demon Hunters. And I was just sitting there like, I don't think I'm in the mood, nor am the audience for an animated musical about a K-pop girl group. But everyone out there was like, no, I think you, as in me, would really dig this movie. But no, being the stubborn Irishman that I am, I just never really gave into it. And even by the time I was kind of thinking about it, the hype had died down a lot, so I kind of just forgot about it. Then funny enough, my fiance really became a fan of the song Golden, so I was hearing that more than once, and then I saw, as, you know, the year's starting to wind down and the big film awards are starting to release their nominees, I saw this movie's been attached to quite a few, and I thought to myself, alright, it would probably be a shame if I didn't at least give this movie a chance before the year was wrapped up. So I was like, alright, I'm gonna finally pop on Netflix, I'm gonna watch this movie, if I feel like it's worth talking about, I'll make a review for it. So yeah, here we are, let's do this. K-Pop Demon Hunters is about this K-pop girl group that are actually demon hunters. They go by Huntress or Hunter X. I don't really know. I think it's Huntress is how they pronounced it. You got three girls in this group, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe. They are a worldwide phenomenon. Everybody loves them. They're a really talented singing group. However, that is ultimately a front to what they actually are. See, what they are actually are demon hunters. And what it is in the history of their world, there were always a group of female singers that used their voices to battle the demons from the underworld, to keep them there, to save them from preying on the souls of the innocent. So yeah, essentially the singing helps weaken the demons, helps keeps them in the spirit world, but occasionally some of them come into the real world, and then these amazing female singers, they gotta fight them. And right now, Huntress is very close to sealing the demons off forever. They have to basically generate this golden Han moon is what they call it, which is basically a sound barrier with their singing that's so powerful it will seal them off forever. And one of the girls in this group, Rumi, who is secretly half demon, she's especially trying to seal them off because she feels it will rid herself of her demon form that is inside her. But Guima, the king of the demons, he's not prepared to go away quietly without a fight, so what he decides to do as basically an all-out last resort against Huntress, he sends this group of demons led by a guy named Jinu into the living world to poise as a rival boy band to steal Huntress's fans, weaken them, and ultimately lead to demon domination in the world. So I already mentioned this has been one of the most hyped up movies ever. It's been in the talks for the best animated movie of the year. I want to get into immediately what really works here. First of all, the characters in this movie. Namely, I want to start with the group Huntress. They were great. I watched this movie, I'm like, this is how you do the female action heroes in movies like this, in animations. You don't just girl boss them, you don't just make them amazing and everything, you make them human. Like, they're incredibly gifted singers and they can fight against demons, yeah, and that's awesome and everything, but to their core, they are humans with their own insecurities and their own flaws and their own struggles. And you especially see that with Rumi in this movie. She's essentially the leader of the group. She's their best singer, and essentially she's just been someone who's struggling with a deep, dark secret in the fact that she is actually half demon. So in her, you see a lot of vulnerability. You see someone who is just trying to rid herself of something that she hates about herself, something that she believes is wrong, she's been told is wrong. So when you see her aggressively trying to be this amazing singer or aggressively trying to create the perfect song that will ultimately end this conflict, you can perfectly understand why, because you see someone that sees something very negatively about themselves. And I think that was really great for this movie because in a lot of ways, that is something that can be a parallel for anybody in the real world. And people might have something about them that they feel is wrong, they feel they don't really understand, they feel people out there don't understand, so they tell them it's wrong. And that could range from anything from, I don't know, race to sexuality, even body image. Like, people might try to go through obscene lengths to get rid of something or try to get rid of something of themselves that they've been told is bad because they just want to be seen as normal and they just want the people around them to love them. It's a really powerful thing they went with in this movie, and it's an element with Rumi that made her an actually likable character. Makes her friendship with the other two demon hunters a little more complex, but it also gave it more meaning. I loved that. I'll touch more on other characters in a minute, but I really want to touch on the animation here because I really think the animation is something that's really going for it. It felt like a blend between anime and the Spider-Verse movies, which would make sense. This is a Sony movie. But yeah, the way characters make certain facial expressions, the way they, express their emotions, or the way certain things unfold, is it ridiculous? Is it unbelievable? Yeah. But this being animation, you're not supposed to take it seriously like that. You're just supposed to have fun with it. So does it get really silly at times? Maybe even a little overly silly? Yes. But I will say, when the movie's trying to be funny with its animation or with its expressiveness or whatever its characters might be doing at the times, for the most part, it was effective. But even the times where it wasn't, I did remember to myself, this is, at the end of the day, a family movie. There are kids who love this movie. There are kids who are watching this movie. So, there are moments where maybe it's being overly silly. You could look at that and say, it's like, all right, that's kind of dumb, but the little kids are going to get a kick out of that. It's that line you gotta tread a little bit with family movies. It's like, yeah, we gotta try to cater to everybody, but we may not be able to cater to everybody all at once. But yeah, there are definitely some shots, animation-wise, that legitimately look beautiful. I'm like, that's awesome, that's really cool. That Spider-Verse written all over that. That's something I could see on a poster, and it just look amazing. And yeah, the action sequences when they go down, they're a lot of fun. It's great seeing the way these girls can basically combine their singing with their, hunting moves, with their weaponry. It's a really unique blend of fighting and action that I can't say I've seen in a whole lot of movies, which was great. It made this movie more original. But yeah, get into the music, because this is a musical after all. How is it? How are the songs? The songs, for the most part in this movie, are really, really good. I mean, Golden's obviously been the big #1 single that everybody in the world is listening to. It's on the radio all the time now, and I won't lie, that song, it's a slap. There are a couple songs in this movie that didn't totally do it for me. There's some that are a little bit, again, silly, corny, just didn't really hit me the way I know the movie's going for. But I will say this much. For as big a hit as Golden was, that wasn't even my favorite song in the movie. For me, there were a couple other songs that I heard, I'm like, this is really good. This is more my vibe right here. These are really, really catchy. And that's what I want. If I'm gonna watch a musical, I better walk out of it at least really enjoying a couple songs. At least a couple that I'm like, I could download this onto my phone, listen to it into my car as I'm driving, and just enjoy myself. And there were more than a few here, so movie accomplished that. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, when people were telling me like, no, I think you would really like this movie, I am starting to see a little bit why, because everything I just summed up right there, when I was watching this movie, I couldn't help but think to myself, I'm like, this feels like classic Disney from what I remember. I mean, like most people of my generation, I grew up a big Disney fan, a classic Disney fan. And yeah, as we all know, lately Disney has completely fallen apart. Well, not completely, but almost has fallen apart. Like, there's not a lot of heart in their work anymore. They don't really try so hard to make something that's very memorable. It's all about money and the message for themselves. This gave me the feels of what Disney used to be. Like, memorable characters, in particular, really strong female characters without feeling like girl bosses that you're just growing to hate along the way because they're good at everything for no reason. No. Great female characters that are flawed, that are different, that are unique, but you can't help but fall in love with them. Beautiful animation, really fun moments, some really good songs. There was a point I was watching this movie and I'm like, Netflix is making a better Disney classic movie than Disney at this point might be capable of doing. And that's why I've heard reports Disney's not exactly thrilled with how well K-Pop Demon Hunters has been doing, because it's putting the pressure back on them. But yeah, even the villain in this movie, well, villain is a strong word. Jinu, who's meant to be the antagonist, he's the leader of the boy band. He's, it would be very easy for him to emerge as this demon and him be the bad guy who the girl's gonna take down, but he's a much more complex character. Like, yeah, you hear the word demon and people around us think to ourselves, it's like, oh, that's a monster, that's evil, that's something that needs to be stopped. In his case, though, it's like, yeah, he's on the wrong side, but you see a really damaged character. Like, the story really delves into what his past was and the sacrifices he had to make to maybe get to where he thought he wanted to be, and then he realized he lost what he didn't want to lose, and it just turned him into what he was. Like, that is ultimately what led him to being a demon, and it raised a really complex question for me that I thought was really great to have. Like, yeah, we've all been used to seeing demons as these monsters, these evil beings, these things that were condemned to the underworld because they did monstrous, horrible things. But what if in reality, demons were just these really broken souls that just got overtaken and overwhelmed by their mistakes and their sins, and just became what they were because of that. Like, what if instead of being evil for the sake of being evil, they just made mistakes along the ways that they couldn't correct? Made it feel a lot more of a tragic backstory for characters like him and others that we might have encountered in this movie. I thought that was great. It was a level they didn't need to go to, but they did. And yeah, that goes without saying. When this movie wants to come through with the emotions, wants to make you feel something in your heart, wants to make you get that knot in your throat a little bit, it does that. And that is credit to its characters, its themes, the execution of its story. And after that, I really do understand why K-Pop Demon Hunters has been rated as the best animated movie of the year. Because for people like me, and I think, you know, people who have been craving something that gives us that feel for the classic animations we grew up with, this was a taste of that. So all in all, yeah, K-Pop Demon Hunters was pretty fucking cool. The group of girls that has Hunt tracks, I really liked all of them together. I loved their chemistry. I loved what they brought to the table. Rumi especially was a really great character. I love the unique take it brought onto demons, how they're not just necessarily evil for the sake of it. They may have just been damaged souls. That's credit to Gino and the execution of his character. The animation was really cool. The humor for the most part hits. Sometimes both feel a little over the top and a little bit silly, but I can roll past that. The action sequences were a lot of fun. It's got some really great music in here, but you probably already knew that. In the end, this is the type of movie that I'm glad I didn't let slide under my radar, because that would have been a shame if I walked out of this year and I hadn't seen it. I'm going to give K-Pop Demon Hunters an 8 out of 10, which makes this one worth buying on physical home media.
Shut up and take my money.
Granted, I don't know if it's because it's a Netflix movie, it's ever going to get a physical home media release, but if it does, I'm going to be on top of that. I heard a sequel's also in the works, so look forward to seeing what they could do there. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. So that's all I'm gonna say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video, and as always, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.